The government of Liberia, in its effort to address the bread and butter issues affecting ordinary Liberians, has taken deliberate steps to reduce the prices of major essential commodities, including gasoline, rice, and flour. These actions were intended to ease the rising cost of living and bring direct relief to households across the country. The government reduced import or wholesale prices to deal with the bread and butter issues, but market prices stay the same. The problem now, ladies and gentlemen of the press, is no longer policy. It is implementation, enforcement, and trust. However, it is deeply concerning that despite these reductions, many business operators, service providers have failed or refused to adjust the prices of basic commodities and transportation fares. As a result, the intended benefits of government intentions are not reaching the people on already struggling families. Across the country, the reality facing ordinary Liberians remains harsh. The President, His Excellency President Joseph Boakai, in his Sona, said that a 25 kg bag of rice is sold for $14.50 US. Consumer market cups of rice remain expensive, forcing families to reduce meals and portion. Transportation fare for taxi, kekes, buses, and motorbikes have not declined despite reduced fuel prices, making it harder for workers, students, and traders to move free daily. The price of a bag of 100-pound flour has dropped to $35 United dollars, but prices of bread and local pastries are still high, which is affecting school children and low-income households. Cooking oil is still sold at very high prices, forcing market women to break quantities into small portions and families to cook less. Charcoal and firewood prices remain elevated due to transport costs. Even locally produced goods such as cassava, pepper, bitter ball, and vegetables are becoming unaffordable due to transportation costs and what I call middleman exploitation. This situation is unacceptable. Price reduction at the national level must translate into fair and reasonable prices at the market level. Any deliberate refusal to pass on these reductions amounts to economic exploitation and undermines national efforts to stabilize the economy and protect the welfare of the people. In this light, Mr. President, as you mentioned in your Sona, that businesses that will exploit our people will be held accountable. Therefore, Mr. President, I'm calling on you to establish what I call a National Price Stabilization Task Force to monitor and regulate prices in the country. This task force should include the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, the Ministry of Transport, the Liberia Petroleum Refining Company, the Liberia Revenue Authority, relevant security agencies, and consumer protection groups. Its mandate should be to monitor prices, publish official reference prices for essential commodities, investigate price gouging and cartel behavior, and enforce compliance nationwide. I further call on business owners, wholesalers, and importers to act responsibly and patriotically by adjusting prices in line with government reductions. Transportation operators and unions to immediately review and reduce fares consistent with the decrease in fuel price. Regulatory and enforcement institutions to strengthen market surveillance and apply appropriate sanctions against violators while protecting small market women and low-income traders. Liberia's economic recovery cannot be achieved when relief granted by the government is blocked before it reaches the ordinary citizens. The suffering of the people must not become a profit opportunity for few or a very few. This is a call for fairness, accountability, and national solidarity. The people of Liberia deserve relief, not excuses. Liberia before profit. Put Liberia first for fair prices and fair living. Thank you very much. You want to take a question if I have a question?
So, as per what you read, is this what your survey reported to you?
Absolutely. And let me ask you, sometimes back we used to pay to go to OKFM from Painsway there, 200. But then, the price of the fuel was high. Today, it reduced, still paying that 200. Am I correct?
The fare is still $200, but okay. So let's look at the other commodities as well. You read bulk of commodities, and the number is so huge. So have you done holistic survey to authenticate that all of these prices that you just mentioned?
Yes. If you go to the market, I can remember for a fact that when bag of rice was sold 25 for $18, cup of rice for $50. Today, a 25 kg big rice is sold for $14.50, and cup of rice is still $50. It's not fair to the Liberian people. It's not fair to the Liberian people.
So with all of these things that are happening, who do you blame for?
I blame the people, the business people, because they are the one, the cartels, they are the one blocking government reduction regulatory to affect the ordinary people. Because the thing is that if government reduce price of gasoline, we don't. We are not sure that the keke people, the transportation fare should stay remain the same. If there's a reduction in the price of fuel, transportation should drop. Vegetables price should drop. Government is doing very well to make sure road connectivity are on par. And so basic commodities should not be expensive for the ordinary people. The government is doing everything to reduce the price for people to handle, to deal with the bread and butter issues. But yet, some business people still find it difficult to reduce the prices. That's what we're calling them, to be responsible and to be patriotic.
Mr. Brown, calling on the president to establish a task force, don't you think it will be doing the work of the Ministry of Commerce because they regulate the prices in the country?
No. You see, I said this task force will comprise of Ministry of Commerce because the prices, FPRC, the petroleum price, right, of this country, they run that. The Liberia Revenue Authority, the police, the consumer group, because those are people who regulate prices. If you put that tax force, if the government, deem it necessary to establish that, because they will monitor prices. For example, FPRC monitor if gasoline prices, for example, $6.50, and one taxi driver, the transport ministry, one taxi driver is still charging $200 for your grocery, and I think it's unfair to Liberian people. And that's a response, because when you put the tax force together, it's not for them a role for across the country. Because the tax force will be responsible to regulate prices, to investigate prices, and to make report, and to even publish. When government come up with prices for basic commodity. So I think it's putting enough. I think that they will help because they are part of government agency and will make sure our country will be very fair in terms of prices, and there will be relief to the ordinary people, and the country will be better.
Mr. Brown, from our end, I heard you blame the business people for the failure of the government to enforce the regulation of prices across the country. The Ministry of Transport, in collaboration with the different transport union, recently came out with a press list for the different venues, Weah to the different county capitals, and it's not being enforced. How can you blame the business people?
So that's what we're talking. That was the policy. We're talking about implementation right now.
Yeah.
So we want this task force to implement every policy that has come down from government. Because to come to a policy is different, but the implementation of that policy what matters. And so if that policy, for example, like you said, so if that policy is implemented, transportation fare will not be high. because you know that people who monitor you, monitor you. So if you do the wrong thing, the action will be taken. That's why the president said, I mean, businesses that we now upheld to this, regulations will be accountable, because you can't exploit the people. You can't be exploited. Other people, you can't exploit them because of their selfish aim, because of their own advertisement. You can't do that. We need a very fair, price in this country and a fair living for the ordinary people. It makes life a lot better. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's what the communication. On this press conference, this is